the Andrew Lessman Vitamin Shop, right?
Well, that's at hsn.com.
Yeah.
That's essentially what it's intended to be, except to have more information than is available to you. When I walk into a health food store or a vitamin store, I'm confused. You see all these multitudes of brands,
yes,
and you see products that all look the same, and there's no one there who could really help you differentiate one from the other. Reading the labels, even with my experience, reading the labels can be challenging to say the least. So my job, what I try to do during these shows, and this show it's a little more difficult because each presentation is just a few minutes, but that's generally a few more minutes than you'll get from someone in a vitamin store. And certainly, what's even worse is most supplements are purchased in supermarkets and discount stores. And there's no one there that's going to be able to give you the information you require. So hopefully, I give you some tools that even if you're buying nothing that I make, when you walk into that discount store or you walk into that supermarket and you're looking at the shelves, you do it in a more effective fashion, in a more informed fashion, just as, and no product is a better example than Glucosamine Chondroitin.
Yeah.
I've been making Glucosamine Chondroitin for 40 years, a joint supplement. That's the principal focus, although it also extends to the elasticity of the tissues in our vascular tissue, our blood vessels and arteries, and also to our skin. But principally, we focus on glucosamine and chondroitin for our joints. But the form, the specific chemical form, the specific molecular form of glucosamine that we want is something called glucosamine sulfate. The research is pretty much unanimous. In fact, the research even says the other form that you see out in the market, that's the form you don't want.
Right.
Nevertheless, the principal form you now see out in the marketplace is glucosamine hydrochloride, glucosamine HCl, which is not the form that I would ever recommend, not the form that the science recommends, but unfortunately, because of economic reasons and other reasons, manufacturers use the form that's not as effective, that's not as beneficial, and that's not me saying it, that's the science saying it. I have quotes from research here that say specifically that if you're looking for glucosamine chondroitin to support your joints, it needs to be the sulfate form. And I'll actually find that chart and read a few.
If you've got joint issues, and this could be, I mean, neck, elbows, hips, you know, knees, you name it, this is your happy place. This is your happy product that's going to make a difference. Just shy of 90% 4- and 5-star reviews, with 80% of those being full 5 stars. It works. And when folks try this, like I did, because I have knee issues, I would never, ever be without it. I love it. I want to take you through the pricing, because this is on the Andrew Lessman Hall of Fame, as it were. A lot of people love this, want this, and never want to be without it. This pricing is ending in 2 hours and 31 minutes. So 61.22, 44.80. The pricing in just a couple hours is going to be here. And as Andrew said, what most of us, and this is sad, but most of us are buying the more inexpensive form on the market. With this, it's worth every penny of the 204. You're getting it for under $100 if you order today, and it's on FlexPay, Andrew.
And by the way, this is a material that's been the subject of thousands and I think there's almost 20,000 research studies published, papers discussing glucosamine, discussing chondroitin. So it's been the subject of extensive research. I'll just read some quick charts here, because I think what I'm saying about the form is very important to see in black and white.
Yeah.
I could probably move my tea out of the way. The Journal of Family Practice. A combination of glucosamine and chondroitin should be considered viable first-line joint support nutrients. It's the first line of support naturally for our joints. Be sure to tell patients to purchase glucosamine sulfate, not glucosamine hydrochloride. So there you have it in the first chart from a medical journal called the Journal of Family Practice. From the Journal of the American Medical Association. Clinical trials of glucosamine sulfate and chondroitin sulfate preparations in supporting joint health have demonstrated moderate to large beneficial effects. Wow. I think we'd all be happy with small benefits.
Sure we would, yeah.
And really happy with moderate to large.
Yeah.
Both glucosamine sulfate and chondroitin sulfate have been proven to be safe and effective in supporting the health of the joints. Research, and this from the textbook of natural medicine, research has shown that sulfur is an extremely important component of glucosamine sulfate, and its substitution by hydrochloride is likely to decrease the efficacy of the supplemental glucosamine. From the American Journal of Natural Medicine, detailed studies conducted by the World Health Organization have shown that sulfur is an extremely important component in the therapeutic effect of glucosamine sulfate. And unfortunately, most products on the marketplace ignore that.
Yeah.
Again, from the Journal of Family Practice, a combination of glucosamine and chondroitin should be considered viable first-line joint support nutrients. Be sure to tell patients to purchase glucosamine sulfate, not glucosamine hydrochloride. We had that chart twice.
It was so good we saw it twice.
Then from American Family Physician, unlike many supplements that reach the market completely untested in clinical trials, glucosamine has been the subject of considerable research. Glucosamine is available in multiple forms. The most common are glucosamine hydrochloride and glucosamine sulfate. Actually, the most common is glucosamine hydrochloride. The one that works is glucosamine sulfate. Glucosamine sulfate is one of the most studied dietary supplements available today.
Wow.
In the last 30 years, many trials have been conducted and published on the effects of glucosamine on the signs and symptoms of normal age-related changes in joint comfort and function. The hydrochloride salt of glucosamine is a common glucosamine product, yet it has received relatively little attention from researchers because it has been demonstrated to not work. So you need the sulfate form. If you're not getting this, when you get your glucosamine at your supermarket or discount store, make sure it's the sulfate form, both the glucosamine and the chondroitin.
Follow the science, follow the science. The science always tells us. Andrew, was that always part and parcel of your kind of mission statement when you started 30, 40 years ago, that it was